I shouldn't have eaten that Kit Kat right before, because now my throat feels all weird. And I don't think, yeah, I mean, like, it's not very conducive for talking, because now it's, like, itchy. That was my third stick, by the way.
What?
That was my third Kit Kat.
That was an overreaction, but, like...
Yeah. No, but I mean,
know you don't like sweets. That was, like... That's why I was shocked.
It's not that sweet. That's why I thought it was, like, dark chocolate. Welcome to Creepy Conversations. I'm Gabby, the one with an itchy throat.
And I'm Kalai, the one with the background. Y'all better sign up for our Patreon to see our background. That's a lie. They can actually see our background in our IG. But, you know, it's better to subscribe to our Patreon. Already plugging our Patreon on top of the show.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience if they check out the entire video, because y'all gonna see some bloopers in there. It's uncut and some other cool shit.
We have a lot of exclusive shit on Patreon. Now my throat is itchy because Gabby said her throat is itchy. Do you guys ever have that thing?
I love the placebo here, because last night I was drinking with my housemates and they made me try soju. Yeah, sucks to be me. I've only tried soju yesterday.
Shut up. We have...
No, we've never had soju together.
Soju and Mountain Dew?
No.
Shut up.
Who were you with?
When we were in college, multiple times, I remember.
No. What was that called? It's the fruity bottle thing.
Gilby's?
I think that's it. It's not soju.
There was a point that we also used to drink that because it was cheaper. We were with Molly. Anyway, let's not talk about this right now. Because you're literally recording 3 minutes into.
Wait. But let me get back into the placebo thing. I told them that it tasted like Robitussin. And so when I said that, every single one of them who took the shot was like, yeah, it was nicer the first time I tried it. But now after she said it tasted like medicine, like cough syrup, it starts to taste like cough syrup. So
what did you
they
mix
didn't really
it with?
enjoy their drink. Straight up.
Whoa. What is wrong with you guys? You're supposed to drink it with I think water or Sprite.
So they mixed theirs with watermelon. They kind of carved out the huge watermelon and then just put it in there and mix. But I don't like it. So I was like, you know what? I'll just drink this straight up. Just like how I do with my whiskey.
Watermelon is gross. It's like a fake. It doesn't taste like shit. It just tastes like sugar.
I hate it too. In the office, when we have free fruit, and every time it's watermelon, they would try to offer it to me, and I'm like, that is the most pointless fruit ever. I cannot.
It tastes like water flavored watermelon. It's like that. It's like water with a little bit of watermelon with what watermelon.
Exactly why it's pointless.
And it also kind of tastes like perfume.
It does, doesn't
right? It's the worst. Anyway,
you know what else is the worst?
Yes, there's something else that's worse, and it's found in Malaysia.
Yes.
And
that's
it's
our
called
topic for today. The Orang Minyak.
I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah.
I just pretended like I knew. If you sound confident, people are going to believe that's how you're supposed to say it.
So it's the Orang Minyak. Ta-da! If you have Malaysian listeners, let us know how we're murdering your mythical creature. But yeah, the Orang Minyak is a race of creatures with origins in Malaysian mythology, legend, and folklore. So if you're Malaysian, you know this creature. In some accounts of its existence. Before I start, my sources are Historic Mysteries. Yep.
Yeah, drop them.
The Star Malaysia, the New Strait Times Malaysia, World of Buzz, and our best friend Wikipedia. So yeah, let me get back to that. So it is implied that this creature is a supernatural spirit entity from the start, and that it is often summoned for the service of malevolent shamans and witch doctors and the like. By the way, because we're both into witchcraft, I've been reading a lot about it, and witch doctor is kind of like not really a good term, because people would start to think that if you're a witch doctor, there's like a negative connotation to it. So y'all stop using witch doctors. Yeah, just say witch, man. Anyway, so though other accounts imply that the Orang Minyak is the product of extreme sexual frustration and desperation, in which a man turns to the assistance of dark forces to win the attention of a crush or to win back the affection of a lost love. So for me, in my opinion, so far out of all of the creatures that we've covered, this is the grossest one for me. Like, I feel like this is grosser than the kappa, because I don't know.
I was about to bring them up
because they just, anyway, we'll let you know why they're gross. Like, their existence is gross. So all Orang Minyak are male, and at least some of them are known to be demonically transformed humans. So locals describe its height and weight with a wide-ranging scope. Typically, they range from thin and lanky to chunky, husky or muscular, or overweight in physical build. The Orang Minyak's eyes may be any color common among humans, but they also have the additional possibility that their eyes may be yellow, gold, red, or all black. Most of like the pictures that you see of the Orang Minyak is usually like it has black eyes, just to like make it creepier. He's
very reminiscent of Venom.
Yeah, kind of like a gross version of Venom. Every description they have like a one common disturbing attribute to what he looks like. So the body of this mythical creature, the Orang Minyak, is completely covered in dark and slippery oil that cakes the whole skin and comes from within the skin itself, as they say. It doesn't drip. Even though it's like super oily, the oil doesn't drip at all, and it will not leave any footprints to follow or fingerprints. Like, once it goes inside your house, or like if it's spotted anywhere, usually like it doesn't leave, because if you're oily, you leave shit, right? Especially if it's a black type of grease, like
it's like grease. Yeah.
You usually like it gets everywhere, as you can see with like mechanics. They always have like stains all over their body, but this dude doesn't leave anything at all. So yeah, kind of like Venom, where like
he's just greasy.
Yeah,
and
parts
shit.
of him, like, you see what it does? Like, it kind of like sticks to him. Like, it doesn't leave shit behind.
Yeah, it doesn't drip.
Yeah.
Ooh, do you think he's kind of like based off that?
Maybe. If you're a Venom fan, let us know. So, its behavior, the Orang Minyak are supernatural creatures. So, they're classified like vampires, but I don't believe that they are.
I don't think so.
Humans can become through, like, because in other cultures, vampires become vampires because they sell their soul or something like that. That's how I think they're compared to vampires. But, like, in the sense of, like, how vampires drink blood and everything, I don't think they're the same. In the Orang Minyak's case, humans can become through consulting and worshipping malevolent powers, and which shamans and witches may summon and control through the use of their dark magic. So that's like how they say the origins are, is because they're actually like creatures that are summoned by the witch doctors and possess a mortal. But I think later on, Alex, I think there's like a psychological thing to it. So the Orang Minyak is a desperate and lascivious creature. Obviously, I copy pasted that word. Its nature drives is always to think about sexual lust, desire, gratification, and satisfaction. So if you're a mortal and you want to get the love of your crush or someone you love, or get the love of someone you lost, you usually go to a witch or a shaman to like barter with them, and then they will summon this entity, and that entity will possess you. In return, what you do to get the love of your life, the services and favor of the malevolent force they invoke, which usually they say is Satan, which I doubt Satan does that. But
look, the devil is a gentleman.
Yeah. And he's all about consent. Like, look at what he did to the temptation of Jesus. He was like, "You down or what? Let me know."
Exactly.
Like, he was trying to tempt him, but he wasn't forcing or anything. But
it's like, if you want this, then cool.
Yeah, but, let me know. It was like that. But you know who loves to force people? I'll let you figure that one out. Anyway, so they invoke an entity. I'm not going to say it's Satan. Let's just say it's an entity. The man who got possessed must go out and rape 21 virgins in the course of 7 days. It's very specific. It has to be 21 within 7 days. So that's, I don't know math. How many people is that in a day?
3
people.
3. Oh my god!
Dude, it's on the spot. Anyway, at first.
So that's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, God. And
rape is not funny, by the way,
yes,
guys.
Always ask for consent. And also, virginity isn't like real. It's just a social construct. It's just people who haven't had sex. That's it. I wonder if like guys are included. I don't know.
I think so.
In the 21, quote unquote virgins. They didn't specify if it has to be.
I don't know.
They just say that it has to, like, he prefers women, but they didn't really say, so we will never know if that entity likes. Anyway.
Well, if anyone knows about it, let us know.
Because I'm wondering if it's...
Y'all know what to do.
Yeah, if it's just the fact that they haven't had sex is the thing that he's after, or if it's, let me know if you know. Let us know. So at first, the mortals becoming Orang Minyak must rape virgins for the sole purpose of fulfilling their infernal contract, but even after it's fulfilled, they retain a predatory desire for women, aka they're gross. They usually prefer virgins, but easily more than willing to settle for any woman whose path they cross. So again, gross. Before long, it becomes a dark, depraved sexual addiction more powerful than most others. So they can't stop, nor they desire to do so. And it gets worse to the point where they just rape any woman that they cross paths with. So,
what the hell?
Yeah. Either way, the creature's urges and desires are only restrained by the potential of being spotted in broad daylight. So they're kind of also like werewolves, where they just attack people during the night.
At night.
So yeah, they have this supernatural aversion to daylight. And when night falls, all of its sexual restraints are out of the window, and it prowls at night seeking its next victim, as many as it can find before the day breaks. And it often walks around stark naked, which combined by a body covered in black oil, it blends into the darkness. Though sometimes if it does wear anything, its only clothes will be its underwear or like a loose fitting loincloth, which is like
Yeah.
gross. So its abilities, the Orang Minyak's abilities, all lend towards his tendency toward raping women and escaping any who might stand up to protect or avenge those women. So he's a scaredy cat. That's what he is. So its pitch black skin, the transformed human starts during the day. He has the ordinary human skin color, and then during the night it transforms into like, could you imagine if you were just like a regular person and then all of a sudden it's night and you're like, oh my god, I'm getting oily.
I was like, I have to do this.
It's so gross. I don't know why they have this. Is like the grossest mythical creature ever.
Who decided that this was like, yeah, sure, let's go for an oily
Right?
creature?
Ugh.
Fun fact, by the way, Orang Minyak literally translates to oily man.
Yeah. From what I know, Orang means man in Malaysian.
Okay. In Malay. Yeah.
Malay. That's their language. So, in addition, the creature exudes a thin black oil from its skin, which helps it not just to blend into the darkness at night, but also to lubricate. This is such a trigger warning, by the way, in general. This is so gross. So, it has not just for the darkness, but also to lubricate unprotected sex and help the creature escape the grasp of pursuers if caught in the act of rape. So all in all, again, gross person inside and out.
Why? And second of all, have you heard of Vaseline? Why?
The fact that you're gonna go just to get the love of your life, you're gonna exchange your soul to become this creature, knowingly that you turn into this creature, you're already sick in the head. I wouldn't pay shit. I would rather start a cult for the love of my life than turn into this. You know?
It's so stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like, okay, you get the love of your life, but you can't be loyal because
right?
You gotta.
It is the stupidest bullshit I've ever heard. Whoever made this up
doesn't make sense.
Has issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Though it is known, this oil doesn't drip. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't drip at all. It is capable of physically inducing sleep paralysis. So kind of like how the incubus and the succubus does.
Yeah.
For sleeping victims, there have been cases where they like wake up but they can't scream at all during the course of the attack. And this one I hate the most of its abilities. The Orang Minyak can automatically become invisible to anyone who isn't a virgin. So only virgins can see him, which is like
good luck.
Well, I was researching this whole thing and I saw like some shit about it. It like triggered my anxiety because that's the thing that I hate the most, when you're asleep and somebody comes in. Like,
yeah, like no,
it
come
is
on.
so like, why? For sure, whoever created this creature is a man, obviously, because they don't know how fucking disturbing this is for us. Anyway, there is a way to. There's a defensive measure against the Orang Minyak. So once you spot this creature, what you do is that because what happens during the night, what he does is, because he loses all of the restraints that he has. So if he sees you as a woman and you're alone and he can like attack you, he wouldn't like stop at all. The only thing that will stop him is if he knows that there's a man, another human around, another man around. If there are like two women, he's not afraid of that, but if there's another man, he gets afraid of it. And another thing that, because that's why he's oily, because he doesn't want to be caught. That's like one of his defense mechanisms. So what you need to do is you have to be around another man all the time, whether it's your brother, your husband, any man. Or what you can do if you live alone like me, which I shouldn't say in this podcast.
Yeah. I was when you said that, I was like, yeah, wrong move, but it's already there.
You're alone, living alone. What you do is you get sweaty clothes from a man. You either put it around your bed, because if he can smell that there is a man in the house, he will not attack you.
That is fucking nasty.
Right? Every part of this creature is disgusting. Like, anyway, so yeah, you either surround yourself with sweaty clothes of a man, or you wear the sweaty clothes of a man so that he wouldn't know that you're a woman.
I cannot.
Everything is disgusting.
I swear to God, this was created by a man. Like, what kind of... It's such a... I don't know. It's such a dick move. Like, they want women to be dependent on men. Basically.
Exactly. Right.
Kill the patriarchy.
Yes. Another thing that you can do is you can hire a Malay witch or shaman, which the locals know as the bomo. What they can do is that they can help you. They have to be around you to prevent that attack, which is like, what if your entire village is under attack? Like, what's the bomo gonna do? Like, run around every house? I don't know. They didn't really say how the bomo can, like, push it away or whatever. But yeah, they say that the bomo can do a ritual to keep it away from you. So yeah. Another thing that you can do, the victim can bite her own thumb and cover it in a cloth that contains a magic spell, which locals call a batik. And then you bite it enough to draw blood, and it supposedly works only during the assault. So while you're being attacked, what you do is wrap your left thumb with a batik and then bite it to like activate the magic spell, and then the fucking oily man is gonna get away. So this character, so that's the Orang Minyak, that's his whole thing. This creature, he sounds like unreal, but people in Malaysia are actually really afraid of him. The villagers actually don't trust the police to protect themselves and have taken to the streets on citizen patrol, and they arm themselves with machetes. Machete, don't. What does he say? Anyway, that movie. But yeah, they armed themselves with machetes to seek out the Orang Minyak. So there was a case back in 2005 where their little girls were being attacked by the Orang Minyak, but like they weren't fully attacked because they have their fathers around their house. So the Orang Minyak, what he does is once you scream or whatever, he does get scared, so he runs away. And this was covered on the news, and it became like a big thing in Malaysia. And what happened was, one of the fathers that were interviewed was, they said that we are very worried, we're very concerned, like for you guys listening to this news, it might just be like, to you, oh, this is just the creature, this is just the Orang Minyak. But to us, this is real because we have little girls here in our village, and we're afraid that they're being attacked. It's not just a myth for us, it's real because our little girls are they're all concerned. They cannot sleep anymore because they're all afraid for their daughters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Didn't you also have like a story about this little
Kind
shit?
of. Yeah. So when you told me what we were covering today, the moment I searched it on Google, there were a lot of articles about it, because at some point Singapore also believed in this creature, because like technically
you guys
speaking,
are neighbors.
Singapore, yeah, and Singapore used to be Malaysia basically.
Yeah.
So up until the 60s, they would still believe in this, and I think like just after that,
I'll get back to that 60s. Go ahead.
okay. Yeah, but I think like after the 60s, they were like, you know what? We're done with this shit. We don't even believe it anymore. But that's Singapore for you. But the biggest ruckus about this, I would say, which is mostly common or like the top results in my searches, is an incident that happened in 2012 on New Year's Eve. Because the entire village was out, and this was near Batu Caves. It was in Selangor, Malaysia. Yeah. And so they had like people, around 40 residents, that were grouping themselves into like 5 to 10 people each to just rove around the village, because they were afraid that the Orang Minyak was gonna attack, because they've been hearing multiple accounts by different women, like, I wouldn't say children, like teenagers, around 17 years old, like really young, experiencing this. And one of them even had an encounter wherein she was locked inside the house and all of her family members were outside.
Oh my God.
I don't know how that happened, but they say that the brother-in-law had to break down the door just so they could get in. And they were kind of attacked. Shit. Yeah, they were attacked for like 5 more days after that. And then they just decided, you know what? We're moving. So they moved houses, like literally moved neighborhoods, because it was just too much for them. And ever since then, they would have various people do surveillances around the place, and they'd be riding their motorbikes, or they would carry axes and pitchforks like a real mob just to surveil the place, because it was just too much. I'm not even sure if I don't think they caught the guy, but the attacks lessened, although they never really stopped patrolling the place.
Oh my God. Speaking of like the 60s, they released a movie in the 1950s called Orang Minyak in Malaysia, where they covered, like, the whole movie is obviously about the Orang Minyak.
Yeah.
And what happened was during the that was released in like 58, late 50s. Then in the what is happening to me? I can't talk. I
think you've reached quota.
Right? I've been talking too much this day. But yeah, so where was I again? Yeah. So after the movie got released, I'm so sorry.
I'm trying not to cut you off because you might forget, but that was just too funny.
This is how I function, guys. But yeah, so after the movie got released during the 60s and 70s, there was a rise in cases of women being attacked by Orang Minyak. So what they think, or also what I personally think as well, is that there were people who were pretending or using the Orang Minyak as an excuse to attack women, because, you know, what do you call this? It's an easy thing to dress as. And another thing, what the Orang Minyak does is that they dress in oil and everything. And when they get out of the house, they put oil in the doorknobs so that whoever's chasing them can't chase them, because they can't open the doorknobs because it's slippery. But how did he open the doorknob in the first place? I don't know, maybe he carries a dry rag so that he can open it. But yeah,
Skills.
I find it crazy. Like, do y'all police have DNA? Like, you guys should start collecting DNA, because this sounds like a serial rapist, in my opinion. Like, people are taking advantage of this creature. I also have another, like, I found like a couple of stories about the Orang Minyak. In May 2016, a woman claimed that she was nearly raped by an Orang Minyak at a petrol station cubicle. Ili Saraya Modia, who's 30 years old, told police that she put up a struggle with a person dressed only in red underwear. And what she said was, I was in one of the stalls when I heard the door to the main toilet entrance open and close. And then I had a bad feeling, which, by the way, is another thing that Orang Minyak victims feel whenever the Orang Minyak is around. They get a bad feeling. So that's why the people thought that this was an Orang Minyak attack, because she felt a bad feeling. And so she decided to leave, but when she went out of the cubicle, she saw a man in just his underwear. Then the man tried to push her back into the cubicle, but she fought back and ran out of the toilet and like started screaming for help. And then the suspect ran off towards the back of the station. So then the police said they confirmed the incident, and then they logged it as a report. So they didn't really like investigate it.
They didn't do anything.
Yeah. Another thing happened in 2018. A 17-year-old girl claimed she was attacked by an Orang Minyak as she was hanging up laundry in the backyard of her family's home. The girl claimed that she was strangled, and then her hands and feet and waist were bound. There's actually photos of this in our sources, and we might post it as well. There were grease marks on her neck and feet, so obviously this isn't the Orang Minyak creature. This is like some man dressing up as the Orang Minyak, because she's got grease all over her body. The girl, and they put her name even though she's a minor. At that time, she was 17 when the story came out, but she's not a minor anymore. She was claiming that she was hanging up clothes when she was grabbed someone from behind forcibly and brought into the living room. And she said, I felt as if I was under a spell. I didn't know who this person was. I only realized what was happening when I felt the person's hands clutch around my neck. My hands and feet and waist were also tied up. I couldn't breathe due to the rope knotted tightly around my waist. I can only cry and scream for help before the person fled through the kitchen window, because her neighbor came and freed her. And the neighbor also called her father and her younger brother, who were having breakfast in a nearby shop. And the father said that their family home has been a target of the Orang Minyak for over a month. And the villagers, like your story, the villagers were also staying up at night. They were setting up perimeters and conducting what they call sembahyang hajat, which I don't know what that is, but I think they're surveilling the neighborhood. And then 4 houses in the village have been pelted by rocks, shattering the windows in process. And some villagers claim to have seen the Orang Minyak, but they have never caught this person. And I think the Orang Minyak like threw rocks at the windows so that they can eventually enter in the future.
Yeah,
and they never caught this dude. The last one, very recent, January 27, 2020, the We Are Malaysians Facebook page, they posted a CCTV footage, and this shit like fucking scared me, because I watched the video and I was like, what the fuck? So there was this lady sleeping in her living room, although nothing happened to her. Spoiler alert. Nothing happened to her. But she was sleeping, and according to the post, she left the door wide open, which is like, I feel like why would you sleep with the door wide open? I feel like she didn't, though. I feel like that's just what they're saying. Because you don't really...
Yeah. But I mean, like, also, if that's not your house...
Why would
you get in?
Right?
Like, come on. This is... What?
It doesn't mean the door is open. You're welcome. You have your own house. Don't go inside to other people's houses.
Even vampires are more respectful.
Right.
Like, they won't even come in. Exactly.
Jesus. Be like vampires, people. Because also another thing, what if that open door is... the person inside there is a serial killer like fucking Gong Runbo waiting for you to come inside and like fucking chop you up and bury you under his house. Don't go in houses, people. So soon in the video, a man that looked like the Orang Minyak, because he was wearing all black, he was wearing like, it looked like skinny jeans that were black. And then he had like, I feel like it was a t-shirt that he wrapped on his face, and then he had like something in his body that made him look all black, so probably he did put grease on his body. And it was so scary because the first time he popped into the screen, he was like staring at the woman who was sleeping, like he was like just standing there just looking at her, and then he like slowly moves around the house and starts getting things, and he looks literally so silent that it like triggered my anxiety, because what if this has happened to me while I'm asleep?
Just didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And another thing, why, like, I'm afraid of, like, because I'm a light sleeper, like, what if I wake up to this person walking around and he sees me awake and decides to, like, you know...
Oh my god.
And this dude was like, he gets one thing and then he goes back out. I think he has an accomplice outside, because he gets one thing, goes back outside, and he walks. He was literally like towards the end of the video, he was just standing while the woman was sleeping there, standing right in front of her and looking around the house, looking at other things to take. And he even looked straight at the CCTV camera. Like, he was like...
So he knew.
Yeah, he looked at it like he was... And in my opinion, he was looking at the CCTV camera like as if he wanted to steal it. Because he kept looking up at it, like looking at where it's connected to. But
like,
then
how
he
do
like
I take
walked
this out?
Right? I feel like that's what he was doing, because he was like looking at it. Like, I feel like if you see a CCTV and you're like stealing at someone's house, you like duck or whatever. This dude was like literally
or you cover it up.
Yeah. And another thing why I think people use the Orang Minyak thing, like they put black grease all over their body, because it covers your tattoos too. Like, you won't be identified.
Right.
Because they can't see identifiable. Right? They can't see your tattoos. So yeah, I feel like... And another thing is that I was listening to a podcast called Stuff That They Don't Tell You, where they were like discussing the Orang Minyak, and they said that a lot of Malaysian police will just agree with the fact that, oh yeah, it's the Orang Minyak, and they don't really investigate,
do anything. Oh my god.
And the Malaysians themselves also, because they don't want to agree with the fact that their police aren't doing anything, so they would just be like, oh yeah, this is probably the Orang Minyak, because that one thing, that's their belief. And also because the police is like the authority, the police themselves are also telling the public that that's probably the Orang Minyak, because they don't want to do their jobs,
they don't want to deal with it,
right? And
why do I feel like this could happen to our country?
Right? I feel like the police, if they find out about the Orang Minyak, they'd be like, yeah, let's copy that.
Let's blame
it on them. But yeah, for sure, we're now banned in Malaysia. The police are like, y'all talking shit about us.
Don't. Please don't. That's the only place I can visit right now.
Right? You can go to like, what was the name of that? The island that has like cheap chocolate, Langkawi or something.
I don't know.
Like you can, according to my cousin, you can buy like a whole fucking box, like a big box full of chocolate for like half the normal price of the chocolates. And the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So like people would literally buy like whole boxes of it just like give away.
But I learned something last night with chocolate. Because you know how I said, like, one of my housemates works at a chocolate store. So we have, like, dollar value stores here. And they sell really, really cheap chocolate, like half the price. Kind of like what you mentioned. And the only reason why they can sell it for that cheap is because it comes from Malaysia. So it's not really, like, quality chocolate. But if you're not fussy about it, then, I mean, it works.
Yeah, because they, according to my cousin, they have, like, factories there that produce chocolates, like, so let's say like Cadbury has a factory there and whatever. Why are we talking about chocolates now when we were talking about the Orang Minyak's like talk about me again? But yeah,
like let's derail this shit.
Also, like Malaysia is also known to like, damn, I'm really gonna get banned in Malaysia, but aren't they known to like also hide their news? Like they're not like kind of like how China does, that they filter out the news that comes out. So I feel like
they do. I mean, even UAE does that. I'm pretty sure a lot of countries do, because you gotta keep a certain image. Oh my god, let's not, because I still wanna
travel
there again. I mean, we still have to remake that stroke the Patronus video.
Yeah. We have that video where we were stroking the Patronus
towers.
We'll probably post it in our social media so that you can see how gross we are.
It's like Orang Minyak style.
No, dude, the Orang Minyak's like the worst shit ever.
They're gross.
Like, I think like I would agree that this is probably the worst creature that we've ever covered. Will
by
probably
far
cover ever, because this dude doesn't know about, like, our creatures don't know consent, but this one is like, he has a fucking quota of women to attack. Like, that ain't
exactly. It's but I mean, this is gonna sound so bad, but if you get attacked by it, you could always just tell your parents, see, told you I was a virgin.
But he gets to a point where he's like, he attacks everyone.
He meets, but like if he attacks you in your home, house, then you're
Jesus. If you're Malaysian, let us know how crazy this, and if you agree with us that you know, the thing that we said where your police are just, you know, blaming it on the Orang Minyak. Let us know if we're gonna get banned there.
Drop your comments on our socials. That's Creepy Convos on Facebook and Twitter, and Creepy Conversations on Instagram. Oh my god, I can't believe you just asked them like, hey, spill the beans.
Yeah, you can also follow us on Spotify, by the way. And
what?
The most important thing that you can do is share. Tell your friends, even if they don't like paranormal or true crime. Force them. No, I'm just kidding. They will like us.
So much for consent, like force them.
No, but yeah, I feel like we're lovable. If you don't like us yet, you will soon.
Eventually.
Eventually. We're gonna put a spell on you. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
You shouldn't be saying that.
Please share our podcast to your friends and to your Facebook page. Follow us on our Facebook page, Creepy Conversations, and Instagram, Creepy Conversations, and on Twitter, Creepy Convos. Retweet our shit and share us again to your friends if I haven't said that before. And
don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes.
As I mentioned earlier, we have our Patreon. We're just gonna remind you because once this episode ends, you can log into Patreon and get our we have a lot of exclusive stuff there. So yeah.
Oh yeah. That's patreon.com/creepyconvos. And wait, did we already say it? I think we already said rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts too. And thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the Orang Minyak could be watching you.
Ew.
Bye.